In this episode, things get a little nostalgic with a baseball duel. Hey there, my name is Rex, episode 56 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. This one pretty interesting as things are starting off with, tryouts for a baseball team that Luke gets everyone interested in, so they all show up. And, there's a good chunk, bigger than, or, a larger portion than I would have expected where they're doing baseball things. Gakuto is good at it. Yuga, unsurprisingly, not very good at it. Roman, great at it. And Luke is there. But, at this point now, we're seeing Yuka show up, one of the Goha siblings, and she challenges Roman to a duel. Interesting rather than going straight to Yuga or someone else, kind of coming in saying, hey, let me duel for you. She challenges Roman right away, and probably because Roman is just doing the best during all these tryouts. And so that's the duel. And, with this episode, surprisingly, there's much more fan service as opposed to the beach episode last week, and not just in whatever way you may think. And yes, even though, sure, Roman's got a unique outfit, there's also some cool monsters as well, and I think the monsters are most of the fan service, as while Roman is setting up on her turn, onto Yuka's turn, her monsters, and, we've known this for a while from the opening, since we got a new opening. Yuka's monsters are basically just Yumas from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, but with a baseball flair. And I say flair because she's using fire attributes. So the first monsters that she summons are a Zubaba, but a baseball version of Zubaba Knight and a baseball version of Gagaga Magician. And I think it's pretty cool. They actually have Zubaba and Gagaga in their names. So I guess technically you could use them along with things. But even though, rush duels are different from regular duels, she trips them both for her ace monster, which, amazing, uniform number 39, Junior Baseball King Ho. And I love it. It's got the jersey with the 39 on the back. It's amazing. It's basically Utopia. And yes, it is a tribute summon monster, as opposed to being an Xyz monster. Even though we saw, there was something like Utopia in the opening, I think it was pretty obvious we weren't going to be seeing Xyz summons in the game, so soon, if at all. But I like that, with the Goha siblings, they're using either classic monsters or revamped versions of classic monsters. And it feels weird to call monsters from Zexal classic monsters. I love Zexal. Zexal's great. I think I might have already said that. But just seeing Utopia here, or at least a version of Utopia, a baseball version, is pretty great and neat. So the field spell that she lays out has all fire attribute monsters gain 400 attack on the turn player's turn only. So it goes up from 25 to 29. So, pretty big, pretty hefty monster. And, it's also interesting with the fire attribute, all the baseball stuff. I feel like that's also a reference to, an old fire attribute monster, Ultimate Baseball Kid. So, I just feel like that's what's going on here. Even though, we didn't see Ultimate Baseball Kid, I feel like that's what the theming is for all baseball themed monsters. Didn't mention it, but before the duel began, Luke actually loaned out Roman some of his monsters, because he has the Dragon's Upsetter and all the the dragon monsters that are baseball, basically. So having them in her deck allows her on her next turn to summon one of them, Dragon's Rock something. I feel bad, but this new one, which actually we haven't seen Luke use at all, but it's a bigger monster, and it's got a decent amount of attack, but it's got an interesting effect because along with everything else that Roman has with all of her cards in her deck that would help her gain life points, it does a kind of a neat thing with this one spell card, Blue Medicine, which would give her 400 life points. She has 3 of those, uses them all, and then she's got kind of a neat monster. I'm pretty sure it's a psychic monster, but this neat one that's kind of like a scientist based around that. And when you gain life points, you can add as many of those blue medicines from your graveyard back to the deck. So she loops that, putting her at over 5,000 life points, which ties into Luke's monsters effect, where you can pay 3,000 life points to have it gain 2,000. So that puts it up, quite a bit. And on top of that, it's a fire attribute monster with all the baseball and everything. So it's pretty high up there and is able to attack over this baseball Utopia monster. So, I think that's kind of neat, kind of interesting. Although Yuka survives with a trap card that lets her gain a little more life points. So, it's seeming like a pretty close duel. And on top of that, back on Yuka's turn, she just brings out more of the Zubaba monsters. And now we see the Zubaba, the Gagaga, and now we actually see an Achacha one. Again, all baseball themed. And I like to, again, even though these monsters are more of like references to those old monsters, she has one card that is just straight up a legacy card, a classic one, the Warrior Returning Alive, which lets her just take back, and I keep calling it Utopia, even though technically I guess it's not Utopia, but the Utopia card from her graveyard to her hand. And again, an interesting thing that it is a tribute summon monster, so she can get it back, even though I guess if it were an Xyz, it would still go back to the extra deck, but who cares. So she has that, she summons it out again, and she's able to use this monster's effect, which does require level 4 specific monsters, which so that's why most of her monsters are level 4. You can send 2 level 4 monsters to the graveyard, and then Junior Baseball King doubles its attack points, basically. So this thing goes up pretty high in attack points, and she beats Roman in this game, in this turn, having it attack. And the thing is, like, I was too like dumbfounded. I was a little too excited because when this thing attacks, he's all like blazing home run slash, so that it's just like the rising sun slash. I mean, I was just geeking out over this stupid baseball Utopia. Too much to notice that Roman lost. I was like, wait a second, hold on, her life points are 0. So that's the result of the duel. And some discussion had been going around when Team Yuga would start losing, if at all, because if it were a pretty formulaic thing where, okay, sure, each episode is a duel, then you kind of finish it up in 6 episodes if Yuga and his friends win every duel. But now that we're seeing that, okay, it seems like there's going to be a much more back and forth. So that probably is going to just fill out the whole 13 episode chunk of this arc, of this portion. And I guess it does make sense in a bit, because in a sense, because Euro and why am I forgetting his name? Eugen, the fish guy. But the first 2 siblings, they didn't seem all too serious. But now we're getting to like the other ones, especially Yuka definitely did seem serious. So I guess we kind of get to see more of her skills in a sense. And I don't want to say that Luke loaning out his monsters to Roman contributed to her losing, because you really can never know. That monster was doing pretty well, but I guess just Yuka just kind of overwhelmed her with that big old monster. And it is kind of neat. Again, I didn't even mention, but the whole doubling attack thing, it's almost like the whole like the double or nothing combo with Utopia. Great. Oh my gosh, a lot of Utopia love, and especially if Yuka won, there's a good chance she'll come back, and especially because she didn't get disowned or anything. So I guess we'll get to see baseball Utopia again. But yeah, that's the episode, and we're seeing more of the other 2 siblings who are still there, and we see a bit more of that drone as well, who again is seeming like they're a caretaker in a sense, and supposedly posing as one of the siblings when she can. But I guess, I guess there's that. And we get just a little tiny update about the secret card that's being developed. And apparently it can be used in rush duels with all their stuff. So we'll see where that goes. Potentially a new summoning mechanic, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you like seeing just the baseball, Utopia baseball stuff? It was an interesting one. I enjoyed it. But, kind of was, interesting. This is one of Roman's, like, few losses, because normally she wins most of her duels, so kind of seeing her lose to this, I guess maybe it just brings a little more significance to the Goha siblings. So we'll see what the discussion is on that. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to show your support, enable notifications by clicking the bell icon next to the subscribe button. I'll make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.